Okay, welcome to the suggested template for Tell Me About Yourself. Okay, now this is a possible way to answer this question. I think a good idea is to use some of my ideas and incorporate into the way that you want to do it. There is no correct way, maybe, but there are some ideas for you to think about, and you see if you agree and want to use them as well. The PDFs, they're all available actually on websites, great, but especially valid for the answers where there's lots of ideas and phrases that you could copy and maybe make notes on to make your own answers. Tell me about yourself. So here's some variations of the questions that could come, and they're more or less the same approach. So could you introduce yourself to us, please? Would you be willing to present yourself to us? How would you describe yourself to us? Would you please give us an overview of yourself? Could you give us a brief self-introduction? What would be your personal elevator pitch? Okay. Now let's have a look at some observations before we actually go through the template. And maybe that'll explain why I'm saying what I'm saying. So, in the Tell Me About Yourself question or similar, you don't need to tell them your CV. They have the CV already, okay? Don't waste this opportunity. You have been given this opportunity, almost guaranteed this question. This is a fantastic opportunity to communicate something really strong about yourself. If you think about it, they actually can ask about your CV in a different way. In fact, that's the video, the video Walk Me Through Your CV, which we also cover. And that's a different type of answer, and actually a different type of objective in the question. So they have your CV. They're probably going to ask this question. Don't waste this opportunity telling them information they have already. Okay? This is the first impression. If you keep it short, this communicates you as in control. Okay? And on the one hand, it's positive and says that you're in control. I know exactly what to say. I can define myself very concisely, very succinctly. Fantastic. But also, there's another advantage here is you're not presenting yourself as the office talker. We've all been in the situation where we've been in an office and there's someone or more than one who just talk too much. The meetings with them take longer. There's too much information. It's not clear what they're trying to say. And because this is the first impression, that's a great impression not to give, isn't it? I'm not the office talker. I can be concise. That's a great reason to be brief in your Tell Me About Yourself question. And also, by extension, by keeping it direct and concise, communicates you as a clear thinker. Another great first impression. Okay? So that's what I would go for, a shorter first Tell Me About Yourself answer. Now then, I'm also going to say two things that I would include here. And these are actually I would say the objective in this answer. The first objective is include your job satisfaction. Okay? So we've looked at that in the videos already, okay? The concepts and writing your answers in some way include what makes you happy about this work. Your job satisfaction is a clear sign of what motivates you, and if a manager knows what motivates you, then they can feel confident in managing you. And this is an element in Culture Fit, which comes up in Module 3. So include this. They've got a really good, strong idea at the beginning that you're motivated and that you will enjoy the work. The next thing I would definitely include in the Tell Me About Yourself answer is to include your next step. Telling them that you are here for something that their job offers means they know why you are here. So this could be as simple as, I'm looking for an opportunity in a more international company. in a smaller company. I'm looking to get experience in this new area. Okay? If they have that new area, if they are an international company, then they say, okay, so now I know what you want. I know that we have that. Let's talk. Okay? Let's go on. So what are your objectives? First objective, communicate where your work satisfaction comes from. Okay? Second objective, communicate why this job interests you. Okay? So when we think about the line manager and what are they worried about, what are their doubts? Two of the doubts are, will you like this job? Do you enjoy this job? And secondly, why are you here? There are two of the biggest doubts in the manager's head. Okay? Yes, you can do the job, but what about this? Do you enjoy it? And what are you looking for here? Okay? And that's why I would include the work satisfaction and the next step in your tell me about yourself answer. Which is actually, just to mention something else. So it's interesting that when we ask someone a culture, especially in an Anglo-Saxon culture, when we ask someone a question rather, we kind of want the answer. And in a way, at the beginning of the interview, if they arrive with some big questions in their head, they're not worried, oh, can you do the job? If they worried you couldn't do the job, they wouldn't waste their time with the interview. The interview now is about a different element, and we talk a lot about this. This goes back in culture fit. And they've got these doubts. Well, yeah, okay, but what's it like to work with that person? Is this person really interested to do this work? What do they want? Because ultimately, the manager, they're not stupid, are they? So they realize, if I can't, even if you're great at the job, and I convince you, let's say I convince you to work here, but you're looking for something we don't have, you're not going to stay very long. Okay? So these are the thoughts that are going through the manager's head. Okay? And it's great to address those those problems, those doubts immediately. So here's an example answer. Okay? And by no means is this the only way to answer the question, but I think this is a good way. So thank you for meeting with me today. Just to introduce myself briefly, I've been a back-end programmer for over 3 years, and I've worked mainly with Node.js, PHP, and SQL. Most of my experience has been at my current company, Acme PLC, where I was promoted to team leader on the new development projects. My current role requires me to coordinate the junior team members, often run the morning meetings, and ensure that my team meets their deadlines. When I think about this work in general and why I want to continue and develop as a software engineer, it is because I truly enjoy working in this field. I love working in a team, all pulling together, and I find solving interesting problems really satisfying. Unfortunately, all good things have come to an end and have to come to an end, and I'm now looking for a new job because it's time for me to find an opportunity to work in a more international environment, because that matches where software development work is going in the future. Bit of water. Okay. So the structure here, a simple past statement. We talk a lot about authority. This comes up here. So you're giving the authority about why you'd be good for the job, so they understand. Although they know this, of course, but you're choosing what to focus on, so they're reminded that you have their core requirements. You've got your present statement. We talk about this, but actually here the present statement includes some of the things they're looking for in this job. It's not necessarily the core activities in your job. It's about their job offer. Okay? Because obviously in this particular case, a programmer does a lot of the time programming. But they've chosen here other elements to focus on. Okay? Your work satisfaction. So what you love working in. So the person, okay, this is the type of individual we're talking to. Wow. And you've decided a team player and solving interesting problems. Okay? And finally, your next step, it's time for me to find an opportunity to work in a more international environment. Presumably, this company are offering an international environment. So there we go, past statement, present statement, pretty simple, good context. But the two big ones I think are work satisfaction. So what do you enjoy about the work? And your next step. Why are you here? So let's look at the past statement. So establish the best authority you can. Okay? Thank you for meeting with me today. Just to introduce myself briefly, I've been a back-end programmer for over 3 years, and I've worked mainly with Node.js, PHP, and SQL. Okay? Etc. How to think of this? What does that mean, my authority? So look at the job description. You have the job description, great. Circle all the key skills and experience that you have, okay? Ideally, it's in the section, the candidate must have. It is required, okay? Circle all of those and choose the most important ones that you have. Up to 3, maybe more if you feel it, but I think 1, 2, or 3 really say, I have the authority and the ability to do this job. So, establishing the best authority you can, okay? Think about certification, courses, years of experience, projects that you've worked on, clients that you've worked with, companies that you've worked for, companies that you have worked with, budget sizes, team sizes, superiority held, responsibility held, okay? That will really set the picture about you being able to do the job. So example phrases would include, I've been working as for X months or so many years. I have years of experience working as a I'm a with experience working in da-da-da-da-da-da. I am qualified. I'm qualified in ch. Okay. I've recently qualified as this, where I learnt and specialized in this. Okay. I'm an experienced and I've worked in this sector for so many years. Okay. Very simple. Then we go into something now. Okay. And the ideal kind of statement here is going to show relevance between your recent activity and this job. So in my example answer, my current role requires me to coordinate the junior team members, often run the morning meetings, and ensure that my team meets their deadlines. Okay? So how to hack this paragraph, this statement? So look again at the job description. Circle all the responsibilities now that are similar to ones that you have now or had recently. And again, choose the most important 3. Okay? Look at the responsibilities of what the job asks you to do. So some example ideas here. We have here dealing with similar stakeholders. So it's the type of person you're dealing with. Maybe it was required in the job. So reporting to management team, managing staff, training and helping staff members, client facing, handling suppliers, liaising with support staff, maybe. What if the relevance is about the type of work you produce? Talk about reports, documentation, accounting information. In this case, code that producing. What about if your current or recent work carries out similar activities? Selling, support work, budgeting, design, customer service, etc. Okay? So think about these. Think about the connection in some way between your current and recent work and this job on offer. So some example phrases. I'm currently working as where I do a lot of and I recently worked as a thing, and in that role I had to do I work as and that role requires me to do this, this, and this. In my current role as this, I'm responsible for blah, 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 as well as a large part of my work doing this. part 3, your work satisfaction. So the objective here is to state how the work keeps you motivated. Okay, we did a lot about motivation in Culture Fit as well. Okay, now when I think about this work in general and why I want to continue and develop as a software engineer, it is because I truly enjoy working in this field. I love working in a team, all pulling together, and I find solving interesting problems really satisfying. Okay. How to do this, how to think about this work satisfaction, okay? We've done a little bit already about this, okay, in the module 1.3. So, what is the daily or regular activity that you enjoy, okay? Keeping you motivated. This activity keeps you motivated and happy, maybe even satisfied, okay? Let's not exaggerate, but let's say, what is it that you actually really enjoy, okay? Now remember, your motivation makes it easier for the manager to manage you. And this is a fundamental idea here, okay? And it makes it easier for everyone to work with you. We've all worked with the negative people in the office. They're very difficult, okay? They don't create a great team, and it's difficult to work with them on projects as well, and the results are not as great, okay? This is a fundamental thing to communicate. Another option here, if you can't think of something you do enjoy on a kind of a regular basis that's clearly to do with a job, think of really common small problems in the job, okay? So think of all the small problems that you might do, okay? And think of the problems that are a reality, they're a part of the job. Things that are not just extra because the way it was done there. So think about, like, if you're dealing with customers, what do customers often say? So imagine, for example, a salesperson. You know, one problem they might have is objections. People are objecting, not wanting to buy. Well, what if you're actually motivated by that problem? You know, I'm motivated to speak to customers and to find out what their objections are and then handle those objections. That's fantastic. And so think about these things. Anything that needs to be resolved for you to do your job. Okay? I like the sentence, running a hotel would be great if there weren't any guests. Because the reality is guests cause a lot of problems. What if your motivation to work in a hotel was to help guests? To actually to find out what the problems were that guests were having and to make them happy. A hotel manager would love to have you on the team, wouldn't they? Great. Some example ideas on work satisfaction. New things to learn. Daily new problems to solve. Difficult, complex problems to solve. Working in a team. Helping team members. Helping customers. Meeting deadlines. Hitting targets. Producing quality work. Producing quality products, achieving customer satisfaction, creating a safe environment, making change happen, improving efficiency, making a difference to others. Okay, those things might make you satisfied. Some example phrases then. This part of the part of this work which really motivates me is, I truly enjoy working in this field, and this is because this and because this. My greatest satisfaction in this work comes from. The main reasons I can continue to find satisfaction in this role is because it allows me to. I'm passionate about this work because. Great. On to step 4 then. You're going to tell them why you're here. State how your next step matches the job on offer in some way. In this particular case, it is time for me to find an opportunity to work in a more international environment. And then added here, by the way, because that matches where software development work is going in the future. So there's another element there, but the key idea is that this is what I'm looking for and a bit of the why. So how can we think about, how can you create an answer for this? So this statement tells them why you are here. It tells them what is it that they have and that you want. And it gives the reason for this whole conversation, the interview. So, how does this job move you one step closer to your 5-year goal? Can be a small step, okay? Maybe even just a different working environment, a different type of client, a different type of product maybe. You just want to work in a different team even. So, remember what we did, okay? In modules 1.2 and modules 1.3. We looked at this question. How does it increase your ability to take on that responsibility that you are looking to have in 5 years? Okay? How does it increase your ability to take on that responsibility? Okay? So, think of some ideas about the next step matches the job on offer, okay? Talk about more responsibility, a specific new responsibility, maybe a larger team, a smaller team, more senior position to start your managerial career. Maybe a larger team to manage after that. Maybe the team should be more international, a larger market, a different market, a specialized market, or maybe a new industry. Maybe the clients are larger. Maybe the clients are more international, a more dynamic environment, fresh challenges, okay, new learning opportunities. These are all what you're looking for, and that later you can move this into how you're planning to go ahead in the future. Some example phrases. I'm now looking for an opportunity to work in an environment. I'm now looking to work for a company who are. My next step is to find a role where I can. What is important for me to get in my next role is the opportunity to. I feel the next phase of my career is to find a role in a company where I can. Okay. That's great. Thank you very much, guys. Good luck. Keep going. And I'll see you in the next videos. We're looking at the next video actually is walk me through your CV. Okay, great. Don't forget to download this PDF from the website.